have ever beaten me.
Nice bass. Today we're going to answer one basic question. Should you purchase the ProFISHiency Sniper Spincast, or should you go with the proven ZEBCO bullet? As always, welcome and thanks for stopping by. Before we dive into this video, I want to go into the comments section and pull out the top negative comments that I found about the ProFISHiency Sniper. Number 1, can't even crank in a perch with it, exclamation mark, no joke, exclamation mark. If you don't crank the star drag down with both hands till it hurts your fingers, it won't reel in a small fish. It just freewheels. It looks good, but a ZEBCO 202 will outperform this reel. Don't waste your money. Comment number 2, most reviews I've seen on the Sniper have been negative, such as lack of torque / power and just cheap build quality. Number 3, this reel is awesome, but still needs work. I had issues with the push button and bringing in fish. The casting is awesome, however. Number 4, hate to rain on the parade, but I think this reel is horrible. Bought one right when they came on the market and the cast button broke on my first fishing trip. Took it apart and the plastic cracked, making it unusable / unrepairable. I have ZEBCO reels from the 80s that are still working decently. 33 Classic. Number 5, only lasted 8 casts, push button never came back, going with something else. Number 6, this reel also has a lot of bad reviews. Number 7, the bullet is better. Number 8, the worst reel ever produced, an absolute joke. Tore up and fell apart first day on lake. Bullet and Omega are 100 times better. All right, that's the end of the comments section. Now, feedback from the comments section aside, here is my opinion or review of this reel after using it for a number of months, and I used it quite extensively. The Sniper Spincast has great ergos, beautiful styling, and excellent casting control and range. Now here is when the negatives arise. After you've casted it a good distance, the crank power is quite terrible. If you hook into any blade of grass, any weed, or if you're even using a lure that is slightly heavier than normal, your reel will just stall out. It has terrible crank power, to be honest. And what you have to do is you have to tighten down your star drag all the way. And that is not how I like to fish. I do not like maxed out drag on my reel, because if I hook into a whopper, last thing I want is maxed out drag. My line will most likely snap and then you lose the fish. You want a nice moderate baseline, which you can fine tune as you're fighting the fish. Now the crank power on the ProFISHiency Sniper reminds me a lot of the Ooyy 170. And I really wanted to like this reel, but I took it out once and the crank power was absolutely atrocious, and this push button, this odd design, will just catch on everything. So transporting this reel, it'll always like activate and disengage your line, and so your line's like, 50 yards behind you as you're walking down a trail, or in the back of your truck all tangled up. So I did not enjoy this reel at all, and I haven't used it since. I know some people might not be happy with that sentiment, but my reel, my Ooyy 170, not impressed with. Nor am I overly impressed with the crank power on the Sniper. Now, although the Sniper Spincast has, phenomenal styling, I mean, just look at this thing. It is a beautiful reel, small, smooth, sleek, great ergonomic. It has a little too much plastic for my liking in the $80 to $100 Spincast ball game. For example, there used to be nice handle, decorative handle cap at the end of these knobs, but they just fell out while I was fishing or transporting the reel, and they are long gone. Now, do they serve any functional purpose? No, they're just cosmetic. But, if I'm spending, close to $100 on a reel, I prefer the trim just doesn't fall off of it. That was definitely a negative for the reel. Now, I have seen multiple reports, like I read in the comments section, that the push button fails immediately. Now, the push button is a plastic. It does look pretty cheap, and I have had issues with ZEBCO bullet push button mechanisms after very heavy duty use in the bullet, so it might just be a Spincast reel vulnerability. Now, the Sniper has excellent specifications. I'm talking 13 bearings, 31 inches per turn, and a gear ratio of 6.5 to 1. That's a phenomenal specification package for a Spincast reel. However, none of that matters if your build quality isn't up to par and the crank power is non-existent. Like, I don't care what your gear ratio is. I don't care how many bearings or how smooth this reel is. If there's no crank power, then what's the point? Now, despite all this negative press, the ProFISHiency Sniper, mine, is still perfectly functional. It's still in the game. It it likes to catch fish. You just have to, like anything else, get used to it and overcome the shortcomings of this reel. It's so silly, but since the crank power was so bad, if I caught a fish or if I had a heavier lure on, what you would have to do is you'd have to do pumps. So you'd like reel down and you'd like pump back and reel down. And that's how you like compensate for that lack of crank power. It's not like my pin slammers or fierces, you know, that you can just sit there and, you know, just kind of, you know, just crank the fish in. This thing, you definitely have to do pumps. You definitely have to have a max out drag if you really want to bring in a fish. So not ideal, but it did catch fish and it's still fully functional. I never had issues with the push button. I did disassemble and clean this at one point and check everything out. You know, the bearings looked to be pretty good. It was kind of a funky design to take apart. I wasn't a huge fan of that. So I definitely think the design has certain efficiencies that can be built into it. Overall, I can't recommend this reel when you have better options on the market, like a ZEBCO Mega Pro, or this is ZEBCO Bullet. This is the MG model, which so far has been doing a fantastic job as expected. You know, if I had to choose between these two, I would definitely go with the ZEBCO Bullet MG. If you're a first-time angler and you have your heart set on a Spincast design, because they are great for first-time and novice anglers, I can't recommend you buy this first. I would definitely get a ZEBCO 33 Platinum first, or a ZEBCO Bullet. This reel, if you have a bunch of Spincast reels, you're a Spincast fanatic, or you're just a psychopath and buy every single cool reel that you see like myself, then you might want to, you know, maybe try this out, but don't expect it to blow you away. Great design, great ergos, but I think the execution just wasn't there. Now, that's disappointing, mostly because I think this concept is huge. I mean, you're taking the ease of use of a Spincast and you're combining it with the ergonomics, efficiency, and performance of a bait cast reel. If ZEBCO copied this design, because we all know that ZEBCO can execute, I think this concept, this Spincast bait cast hybrid, would be absolutely phenomenal if built by the right manufacturer. So if anyone is working for ZEBCO and you're watching this video, for the love of God, talk to your engineers and please make a hybrid. A hybrid bullet would just be absolutely phenomenal. Like if you had like an MG hybrid, like holy cow. That's my thoughts. As always, thanks for stopping by. Be on the lookout. ZEBCO has some cool new products coming out in 2023. I believe they are making a smaller bullet. I want to say it's size 20. And then the new redesign Omega Pro is absolutely phenomenal looking. It is so cool, and I can't wait to find one. I'm like searching the internet every day to see as soon as they're in stock and available, and I will purchase one and review it. And make sure you get out and go fishing. Well, I'll see you later. Bye.